In the midst of life's turbulent melody, I, a 28-year-old man, found myself seeking solace in the comforting embrace of my sister's home, an escape from the relentless barrage of marital discord initiated by my 32-year-old wife. Our journey together spanned 5 years, with 4 of those years dedicated to the sacred bond of marriage, a union forged from the depths of a long-standing friendship. Through the ebb and flow of time, we cultivated the delicate bloom of our familial legacy, a precious 4-year-old child, while I, as the primary provider, bore the weight of financial responsibilities. Meanwhile, my wife, by her own volition, assumed the role of a devoted homemaker, a choice she had steadfastly embraced for the past 18 months. The discordant notes of our disagreements reverberated through the corridors of our shared existence, playing out in a dissonant melody that echoed 1 to 2 times a month, each crescendo punctuated by my wife's fervent threats of divorce. Yet amidst the cacophony, I endeavored to maintain harmony, harmonizing with the rhythms of parenthood and the choreography of household duties, my contributions serving as a soothing counterpoint to the discord. The first dissonant chord struck during a heated argument sparked by my sister's plea for temporary shelter, seeking refuge from her own romantic tribulations. Ironically, my wife reluctantly agreed, only to later critique the gesture, juxtaposing my sister's gracious presence with that of a previous guest whose disruptive influence had marred the familial harmony. Yet, against this backdrop of familial tension, my sister's stay proved to be a harmonizing force, her assistance seamlessly woven into the fabric of our daily lives as she undertook household tasks with a virtuosity that belied her temporary status. Her presence acted as a balm, soothing the frayed edges of our familial bonds and heralding a tentative reconciliation. However, this respite proved ephemeral as the dissonant chords of marital discord resurfaced once more, casting a shadow over our fragile truce. My wife, her voice rising in accusation, leveled charges of neglect and abandonment, decrying my prolonged absences and accusing me of failing in my paternal duties. Frustrated by her refusal to seek counsel or therapy, I rose to my feet, delivering a candid rebuttal. I spoke of the burdens I bore alone, of frivolous expenditures threatening our financial stability, and of my unwavering commitment to our daughter's well-being. In the face of her obstinance, I resolved to take action, orchestrating a final movement to bring an end to our discordant duet. Gathering my daughter's belongings, I bid farewell to the symphony of marital discord, seeking refuge in the harmonious sanctuary of my sister's home. Yet, amid the quietude of my newfound haven, the haunting echoes of my wife's pleas for reconciliation lingered, leaving me to ponder the uncertain melody of our shared future. I love her deeply, and she's undeniably a devoted mother. Yet the weight of our marital turmoil has become unbearable, I confess to the compassionate souls of the internet, seeking solace in their collective wisdom. Yes, I've enlisted the expertise of a legal advisor to help navigate the complexities of family discord, a trusted ally since my formative years. Now, let us delve deeper into the profound insights offered by the virtual counsel. This snippet of your life is but a mere fragment. Only you possess the intimate knowledge of your wife and the intricate dynamics of your shared existence, one sage wisely opined, urging me to consider the broader context of our relationship. Toxicity within familial bonds can be profoundly detrimental, especially when one party is unable to transcend their personal struggles for the betterment of their children, another empathetically added, reminding me of the delicate balance between personal fulfillment and familial obligations. However, amidst the chorus of voices advocating for familial harmony, a dissenting melody emerged. Prioritize your own well-being, a sage counseled, for how can you effectively care for your daughter if you're burdened by stress and unhappiness? It was a poignant revelation, a sobering reminder that self-care is not selfishness but rather a prerequisite for effective parenting. Others echoed similar sentiments, attributing my wife's tumultuous behavior to a lack of internal fulfillment, urging me to explore avenues of mutual understanding rather than hastily resorting to divorce. Remaining within the confines of one's comfort zone can breed complacency and stagnation, one sage cautioned, drawing parallels to their own relationship tribulations. Reflecting on the myriad perspectives offered, I recognized that my marital struggles were not isolated incidents but rather a reflection of the universal quest for harmony amidst life's tumultuous currents. Even in the aftermath of divorce, cooperation and civility will be imperative for the sake of your daughter's well-being, a voice of reason implored, urging me to tread cautiously in the delicate dance of separation. In conclusion, as I contemplate the path forward, I am guided by the profound insights of both virtual strangers and personal introspection. For in the grand tapestry of life, each individual thread, no matter how tangled, contributes to the rich mosaic of our shared human experience. In the intricate tapestry of human relationships, there exists a delicate dance between individual happiness and the dynamics of partnership. It's a dance often fraught with complexities, where the pursuit of one's own happiness can sometimes collide with the expectations and needs of a significant other. Yet, amidst this intricate interplay, there emerges a fundamental truth: each person is ultimately responsible for their own happiness. For the spouse grappling with the weight of their partner's discontent, there comes a pivotal moment of realization, a moment when the futility of trying to make someone else happy becomes painfully clear. It's a moment when the facade of marital harmony begins to crumble, revealing the underlying fractures that threaten to tear the relationship apart. In such moments of clarity, the path forward may seem daunting, but it also presents an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. The decision to pursue divorce is not one made lightly. It's a decision born out of necessity, a recognition that the status quo is no longer sustainable. It's a decision that requires courage and conviction, a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths and navigate the uncertainties of the unknown. Yet, in embracing this decision, there is also a sense of empowerment, a reclaiming of agency and autonomy in the pursuit of a more fulfilling life. For the at-home wife, the prospect of divorce represents both a liberation and a challenge. No longer bound by the constraints of a failing marriage, she is free to chart her own course and pursue her own happiness. Yet, with this newfound freedom comes a host of responsibilities and uncertainties. From finding a job to securing housing and navigating the complexities of co-parenting, the road ahead may be fraught with obstacles. But with resilience and determination, she has the potential to emerge stronger and more self-reliant than ever before. In the end, the decision to pursue divorce is a deeply personal one, shaped by individual circumstances and aspirations. It's a decision that requires careful consideration and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. But ultimately, it's a decision that holds the promise of a brighter future, a future defined by authenticity, fulfillment, and the pursuit of happiness on one's own terms. As the journey unfolds, there may be moments of doubt and uncertainty, but there is also the opportunity for growth and transformation. In facing the challenges ahead, the at-home wife will discover reserves of strength and resilience she never knew she possessed. And in embracing her newfound independence, she will forge a path to a future defined by possibility and potential. Through it all, the at-home wife will draw upon the support of friends and loved ones, finding solace in the knowledge that she is not alone on this journey. And as she navigates the complexities of divorce and single parenthood, she will emerge stronger, wiser, and more self-assured than ever before. Ultimately, the decision to pursue divorce is a deeply personal one, shaped by individual circumstances and aspirations. It's a decision that requires courage, strength, and a willingness to confront the unknown. But in taking this bold step, the at-home wife embarks on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment, a journey that will ultimately lead her to a brighter, more fulfilling future. In the aftermath of handing my husband the divorce papers and my subsequent departure, he expressed shock and distress, accusing me of deceiving him over the years by portraying a facade of contentment while he harbored regrets for causing me pain. He labels me as cold, calculated, and vindictive, accusations I vehemently refute. From my perspective, we both endeavor to create a fulfilling life for our family, including our children. Despite his claims, I believe we succeeded in this endeavor, doing the best we could with the hand we were dealt. While I appreciate the outreach, I regret my inability to engage with everyone individually. However, I'm open to assisting those who have undergone similar experiences. Our intimacy resumed a few years after our initial rift, albeit with precautions, as I couldn't allow him to touch me without protection. Our conflicts, albeit rare, often revolved around intimacy, and our frequency diminished significantly over time. Initially, the thought of his infidelity weighed heavily on me, but with time, it bothered me less as I gradually detached emotionally. I remained ignorant of the details regarding his affair, never delving into the specifics, preferring to spare myself the pain. In therapy, I refrained from inquiring about his ongoing relationships, assuming the worst to avoid disappointment. The phrase "I love you" vanished from my vocabulary, a stark departure from our earlier days when it was exchanged freely. However, I found solace and contentment in the presence of my children and the familiarity of our home. Despite my decision to leave, my children understand little of the situation, shielded from the painful truth. I have no inclination to alter my nightly rituals, unlike my husband's new partner who changes the sheets religiously, indicative of her need for emotional intimacy. Throughout our tumultuous journey, I refrained from seeking revenge or retribution, my sole motivation being the realization that I no longer harbored love for my husband. In hindsight, it's perplexing how we failed to recognize my emotional detachment sooner, a phenomenon often overlooked by men who equate the absence of conflict with contentment. My own experience, stemming from my ex-partner's violence, taught me the subtle signs of emotional disconnection, a state I endured for 2 long years before mustering the courage to leave. As the husband, my initial reaction was one of disbelief, a shock that coursed through my veins as she handed me those divorce papers. The realization hit me like a sledgehammer, crashing through the facade of our marriage, shattering the illusion of stability I had clung to so desperately. In that moment, I stood there paralyzed by the weight of her decision, unable to comprehend how we had reached this precipice. When she moved out the very next day, with our daughter in tow, it felt like the ground had crumbled beneath my feet. The air around me grew heavy with the weight of her absence, and I was left grappling with a sense of profound loss. Every corner of our apartment echoed with memories of her, reminders of a life that now seemed distant and unreal. As the days turned into weeks, the reality of our situation began to sink in, seeping into the recesses of my mind like a persistent fog. I found myself cycling through a kaleidoscope of emotions, each more tumultuous than the last. Anger, sorrow, regret. They clawed at the edges of my consciousness, threatening to consume me whole. And then came the accusations, hurled at me like daggers aimed at my heart. She accused me of deception, of living a lie for all these years while she bore the brunt of my transgressions in silence. I was labeled as cold, calculated, vindictive, traits I never knew resided within me until she pointed them out with chilling precision. But amidst the chaos of our crumbling marriage, I found myself grappling with a gnawing sense of guilt. Had I truly been blind to her suffering all these years? How could I have missed the signs of her discontent, the subtle shifts in her demeanor that now seemed glaringly obvious in hindsight? In moments of quiet reflection, I revisited the milestones of our relationship, tracing the contours of our shared history like a map of lost dreams. From the heady days of our courtship to the joyous arrival of our daughter, every chapter seemed to blur into a bittersweet symphony of love and longing. And yet, as I grappled with the wreckage of our marriage, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had failed her in some fundamental way. How had I allowed our love to wither and die, suffocated by the weight of my own insecurities and shortcomings? But even as I wrestled with these existential questions, a flicker of hope danced on the periphery of my consciousness. Perhaps this dissolution was not the end, but rather the beginning of a new chapter, one defined by healing, growth, and the possibility of redemption. In the depths of my despair, I found solace in the unshakable bond I shared with our daughter. She became my beacon of light in the darkness, a reminder of the love that still pulsed through my veins despite the wreckage of our marriage. And so, as I navigate the uncertain terrain of singlehood, I cling to the hope that one day, we may find our way back to each other, not as husband and wife, but as co-parents united by a love that transcends the confines of romantic partnership. Until then, I will continue to tread the path of self-discovery, guided by the belief that from the ashes of our broken marriage, a phoenix will rise, reborn and renewed. It's perplexing how he can easily move on while I'm left feeling like nothing more than a human incubator, emotionally battered by him for 5 long years. And to add insult to injury, he didn't have the decency to warn me that his new partner had infiltrated my workplace. It's not about him having a girlfriend. I was supportive when he told me. But the deceit and the intrusion into my professional space have caused me an immense amount of stress. Regarding the comments, it seems like his mother-in-law knows exactly what kind of person her son is and doesn't want to deal with him herself. My own experience mirrors this situation. My grandmother was resentful when my mom kicked out my father and stopped checking in on us. My ex is challenging to deal with, and his family's influence only exacerbated our relationship issues. Cheating was just one of many problems. There were countless other issues I chose to ignore. Getting out of the relationship was undoubtedly the right decision, although I'm still grieving the loss of a 6-year partnership. But when I weigh the good against the bad, the negatives far outweigh any positives. It's puzzling why my mother-in-law is taking this stance, especially since she supported her other daughter-in-law's decision to leave her cheating husband. If your soon-to-be ex is particularly difficult to live with, perhaps your mother-in-law doesn't want him returning to her home. Focus on taking care of yourself and your impending arrival. Don't let their drama consume you. Hopefully, you have supportive friends and family around you during this challenging time. The fact that both of her sons cheated on their long-term partners speaks volumes about their mother's character. While I understand that sister-in-law deserves everything she can get from her cheating husband, it's frustrating that I was pressured to reconcile while she was given permission to leave. It's clear that they care more about appearances than the well-being of their family members. Ultimately, their opinions and actions are driven by outdated ideals, but I refuse to let their judgment affect me. As for their divorces, it's telling that they've managed to keep them under wraps. It's time to put my mother-in-law in time out and make it clear that she needs to support me or step aside.